This is MJ. I'm an author, I'm an artist, I'm an analyzer. Welcome back to Digimon Chronicles, brought to you by mjmunoz.com. You can find everything I do there, but with Digimon Chronicles, I'm specifically going to be covering, for now, the Digimon Seekers serial novel. This is Chapter 1, Part 7. It's Eiji, the Wolf of the Ninth Avenue, or Eiji, Wolf of the Ninth Avenue is what it's called. It's about 1,384 words, and I predict it'll be about a 10-minute read, and then I will give you my reaction to the reading of Chapter 1, Part 7 as well. So here we go in just a couple seconds. Aberdeen Electronics and Denrin District Digital Lab. After receiving an urgent call, Eiji immediately goes to DDL and cries in his office. Professor Ryusenji. Good morning, Eiji. It was already afternoon, but Ryusenji seems to be the type to always say good morning. What's with this Digimon? Lugumon is napping on the Digimon linker screen. He is probably full of food and dreaming a good dream. It looks like you're doing a great job with your training. I'm looking forward to seeing it evolve. Ryusenji smiles. Digimon change their forms as they grow. Digimon evolution, baby, child, adult, perfect, and ultimate form. Insects, for example, grow from egg to larva, pupa, and adult. What is different is that the same individual transforms into a completely different Digimon. This is why the academic term evolution is used to describe the growth of a Digimon. If you evolve it to maturity, we will pay you an incentive, an additional reward. The more perfect, the more ultimate, the better. I wonder what kind of Digimon Lugumon will evolve into. I'd like to see Eiji and Lugumon looking cool together. Ryusenji cheered Eiji on in an easy-to-understand way. Don't say that. Don't be a bad adult that looks forward to chaos. You saw it, right? Yesterday's training report? Eiji protests. I get hundreds of emails every day. I hardly open any of them. Ryusenji speaks bluntly. You'd lose days of work if you check them all. That's right, I'm a researcher and I don't have time for anything but research. But I do check my notifications for communications from you, for example. That kind of makes my heart hurt a bit. Eiji hugs himself. You're a very important business partner of mine, Eiji. This part of the professor isn't unpleasant in the least, and it makes me like him more. The world's leading authority on the digital world says that Eiji, who is nothing more than a code cracker brat, is his business partner. Opening Eiji's report on the monitor, Ryusenji plays the attached video file. Lugumon, child, dark beast, virus type. It's in a virtual training cage. The date of the video is yesterday. The Lugumon is eating food. A Digimon will stop growing if they do not eat, so when they get hungry, they instinctively continue to eat. It may seem strange for an AI to eat, but food is in essence data and information. Even human beings would not grow in any way if they did not read books, watch videos, and study to obtain information. In front of the Lugumon, there are 4 plates of food for some reason. In the corner of the cage, 3 Tyrannomon, which are kept in a multiple-headed house, are wobbling. Would 3 Tyrannomon be too much to handle? Ryusenji is genuinely curious. The Tyrannomon are adults, and yet the younger Lugumon can hold its own. The Lugumon is strongly influenced by the data of dark beast types, especially wolves, Ryusenji explains. Wolves, so it's not a dog. Eiji scratches his head. They are dogs, but they are more primitive, descended from wolves that have been tamed. In any case, they form a pack and have a boss. They are strict about ranking within the pack. So they were kept in the same cage. Does that mean that Lugumon made the Tyrannomon its offspring? More or less. Obviously, the boss has first dibs on food. Ryusenji smiles for some reason. So it's eating others' food? This guy even tries to eat one of the Tyrannomon at first. Oh wow, that's very interesting. Just like the mythical demon wolf that eats even giant gods. It's too horrible to make a video of. He eats too much, he costs too much, and he poops too much. And? Huh? Do you have a problem with that? Ryusenji asks the question. I see. This is simply interesting to a genius researcher. Eiji takes a deep breath. The following data is the result of benchmarking the Lugumon. It's definitely not your average growth score. By the way, Professor, what is that thing on the Lugumon's forehead? This? Eiji pauses the video and zooms in. The Lugumon's forehead and nose are covered with a mask and a protector. The faceplate is covered with a shiny jewel-like object. I find it very interesting. Sometimes it even glows. I'm not sure what to say, but good on you for noticing it, Eiji. Thanks. So, how do you feel about it? You've tried using it, haven't you? It's too peaky to evaluate its performance as an AI tool. Eiji pauses. What do you mean? It's not that the tool's commands don't work. It's that it won't do what you tell it to do. Not only won't he work, he won't walk either. I remember a dog I used to have that would go for a stroll on his own. So, you don't think you can raise it? I didn't say that. Raising it is my job, and I'm interested in it. I'll definitely get it to evolve. Try to hololize it, Ryusenji speaks. Eiji chooses a command on the digital linker. The Lugumon, which had been sleeping, is hololized. It's big and bulky. Digimon and their child stage are usually about 1 meter in length, depending on the type, of course. The Lugumon is about the size of a husky dog or a small wolf. Digimon themselves have a chunky form, so they have a strong presence when they are indoors. Its fur is a blue-gray. Its eyes are red. Eiji would like to fluff it up if he could. The Digimon linker is checking Eiji's bioinformation 24 hours a day. I verified the data along with the Lugumon's training information. Ryusenji shouts loudly. What? You surprised me. This is truly remarkable. Ryusenji looks amazed. Why all the fuss? Look at these numbers. Ryusenji pointed excitedly at the screen as he displays the evaluation report. DS value. I'm not sure what that means. This is new to Eiji. He hasn't heard the term, not even in codecracker circles. That's D4. Oh, so it's classified? It's an indicator of compatibility with the Digimon I designed. Eiji, your compatibility with Lugumon is already second to none, even compared to the best codecrackers. Seriously? Eiji looks at the Lugumon, who is still napping on the floor. I'm glad I was right about offering you the job. So, does that mean the Lugumon can evolve right away? It can go from adult to perfect to ultimate? I can't say for sure. Why not? The DS value is only an indicator of potential. So it might be possible then. Eiji is completely taken aback. Digimon compatibility. Eiji had never really thought about it. Of course, there is the question of whether or not the Digimon would be easy for him to use as a tool. I've only touched Tyrannomon and other Digimon that pretty much everyone else uses to a certain extent. The more prevalent Digimon are among codecrackers, the easier it is to adjust the tools, because they can listen to each other's advice. Recently, cyborg types have been all the rage. Where have you been getting your Digimon up till now? Grim? Yeah, though it's slightly illegal in Japan. There are countries where it is legal. The network. There are no borders and no laws in the digital world. Yes, there are no borders in the digital world. Eiji, do you know who you're quoting? Ryusenji asks the question. Eiji doesn't know. Who? Doesn't everyone say that? It's a grim codecracker meme at this point. Are you saying there's a source for it? Ryusenji shrugged his shoulders like an actor. What's your work again, Eiji? I'm a codecracker. Then you know of the codecracking team, don't you? And that's the end of the chapter. Then ended a little abruptly. Some of the dialogue is missing tags, or it's intentionally not including the tags. And depending on the context, I have a hard time following that. Obviously, this is just a conversation between the two of them. So I more or less got it, but just for like my performance in the reading, I'm not 100% sure I was accurately portraying who, the right guy at the right time, basically. But my overall impression of this is that, by the way, that was more like a 9-minute read, which is good. But anyway, my overall impression of this is that I'm enjoying getting more of the lore, hearing that Lugumon is this, very exceptional Digimon. The 4 plates thing didn't really make sense to me at first, but then I realized that in the conversation that they're having, that basically Lucamon is acting like a wolf, and somehow he's gotten the Tyrannomon to be like betas to his alpha, and he's, stealing their food basically and taking more for himself. And there was the concern originally that even though he's only a child or a rookie level, that the adult or champion level Tyrannomon, especially 3 of them, might boss him around, or there might be some sort of trouble with them. But it turns out that he's actually so powerful that he can boss them around, and I find that pretty interesting. I also like the fact that he's not really listening to Eiji. Eiji can't really control Lucamon just yet, and that's a fun idea. It'll be interesting to see if, beyond hololizing him, if the Digimon actually like bioemerge, for lack of a better word, or come out into the real world, and what that'll do. Although, depending on how they have it set up, having him in the network alone or having them hololized might be enough to show the differences between them and have them be substantive. Because if he has all this power and capability, but he's not listening and he won't cooperate with Eiji, regardless of where they are in the full context of how he's emerged into the world, it doesn't really matter. So I really like that. I like their conversation. It's a little... I like the idea of their conversation, and I like this relationship dynamic between Ryusenji and Eiji, and I just think it's really neat, and I'm ready for things to keep moving. Although I gotta say, again, the way that the chapters are formatted doesn't make sense. Like, this should be like the 3rd chapter maybe, that we're already in. So I'll be curious to see if they keep numbering it like this, if we'll get a bunch of 2-1, -2, -3, -4, etc., all the way until the end of the book, or if they're gonna split it up in a more defined way and say, okay, this is chapter 2, this is chapter 3, chapter 4, and have them be shorter but more focused. Because this whole meandering chapter thing doesn't really work for me. I don't think it's very effective. I think it kind of loses the focus, and it makes each chapter less effective, because then it feels like, oh, well, there's all this wasted stuff in here and you could have cut out all these things. But I am interested in, what's going on with the story. And, the professor mentions at the end the code cracking team. So is this, some original set of developers or code crackers who initially started using Digimon, who laid out a bunch of principles for Digimon, although they weren't speaking specifically about Digimon. They were just talking about the fact that inside the internet, inside the network, there are no borders. So that's interesting. But I'm really liking this, what's it called? Cypherpunk techno sphere, real techie internet, person, concept and like character type that they're putting in here. Ryusenji definitely seems to be that kind of guy, and Eiji is that by default. He might not have the full philosophical underpinnings of why he's doing what he's doing, but he he's absorbing the memes created by these types of people, or founded on these certain ideals or ideology of like data being free and there not being borders, and this desire for freedom in the network. And I wonder if freedom is going to be a theme in this or not, and if it is, how, and what does that mean, and what's the point of that freedom. And while I'm thinking about the theme of this story, it reminds me, I don't really know, and I've thought about this for some writing projects I have, I don't really know what the theme of Digimon Adventure is. 0-2, I have a little bit of a stronger grasp. Tamers, I think I know what it is, although not off the top of my head. I have to think about it more. And Frontier, I don't know, the theme is being a tokusatsu. But the thematic structure, the thematic question at the heart of each one, I'd have to think about a little bit more. They seem kind of hard to define, maybe because the shows are 50 plus episodes long. I'm not exactly sure, but I'll be curious to see what the theme of this Digimon story is, especially because as they're putting it out as a novel, among other things, I would think as a narrative, it would have to have a strong theme in order for it to work and resonate and be something that they can do in the future and something that they can make money off of now. Because without a theme, then you have a less effective story. With a less effective story, you're less likely able to sell, especially because the medium is words. They do have cool images. By the way, the Lugumon image is adorable, and I think it's credited to somebody else. This time Mallow has been doing the art for these so far, but this issue, this chapter 1, part 7, I believe it credits somebody else as the artist who, Plex, which I don't know if that's Plex, the people who make the Kamen Rider and Super Sentai suits, or if that's somebody else, but it could be them, but that wouldn't surprise me. Oh, I think they work with Bandai to make the toys, and Lugumon's adorable, so they did a good job there. Anyway, that's it. I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. I'd like to hear your thoughts on Chapter 1, Part 7, and I ask that you come back for more of this Seekers novel as Digimon Chronicles continues. I hope you enjoyed that. Go to mjmunoz.com to leave any questions, comments, or other feedback you might have. There you can find all of my analysis, art, and fiction. I cover books, tokusatsu, comic books, anime, and more. Look around. You're sure to find something else that you'll enjoy as well. This has been a Story Over Everything production.